Welcome to the Brady Bunch of Autism, your source for family, parenting, and all things autism and special needs. Created by our family for your family. Live from the Ed Asner Family Center. And now your hosts, Nava and Matt Asner.
Welcome to the Brady Bunch of Autism. I'm Matt Asner.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Nava Asner. We're very happy that you came to our second show, and we're just so happy to be here again.
Yes. All right, let's talk about Kanye West. So Kanye West announces he's been diagnosed with autism. Kanye West has been doing the most insane stuff in public for the past couple of years. And I think when the shit is really hitting the fan, excuse my language,
he's an adult show.
He's saying, oh, I've been diagnosed with autism. Mm-hmm. Like that is some sort of golden ticket out of whatever mess he's creating for himself. And I think it's insulting to anyone who's involved in the autism community, certainly autistics themselves, and parents. I think it's terrible. I mean,
I agree.
Basically, this guy's just an asshole.
Yeah.
And he's blaming it on his autism, and I frankly, think that's enough. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Night of Too Many Stars is coming up in March. It's another star-studded night.
Next for Autism.
March 31st. Next for Autism.
Our good friends
who've actually given us a grant,
yes.
A couple of grants before, and it's at the Beacon Theater in New York City on March 31st, and they're going to have some incredible people again: Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, Amy Schumer. Just a virtual who's who. Let's see, who else? Ronnie Chang, Alex Edelman, Susie Essman from, isn't she the one from Curb Your Enthusiasm? I think she is. Jim Gaffigan, Sarah Sherman, Max Weinberg's Jukebox, James Austin Johnson, and Sam Morrill. They're gonna have a live auction, and it's gonna be incredible.
And Next for Autism really, really helps people in the community. They help in a way that is really life-changing. They helped us actually underwrite and create the Dating Spectrum, which is our very, very important relationship program. And their new kind of pathway is really centering on autistically led programs, and we've had a few programs that they were really excited about, and we love them, and we're so grateful for all their support. And if you can get one of those golden tickets, you should go.
Yes, I mean, tickets are available to the public.
Yeah,
and then go to Next for Autism website and try and get a ticket. Just pay for it. It's reasonably priced, and probably one of the best comedy shows you'll ever see at the Beacon Theater, March 31st. Night of Too Many Stars. Moving on. Okay, Arkansas, and you're going to like this. Okay. Arkansas has a new blue envelope law. Do you know what a blue envelope law is, Nava?
I don't.
A blue envelope law aims to ease police encounters with people with autism.
But why blue?
Blue autism.
You're asking for it, so I'm going to.
No, I mean, that's them. I'm not doing it.
But why blue? What about the girls with autism?
Well, they can join
the autistic girls are not.
You
asked for it. I'm going to bring it.
Look, it's a blue envelope. It's a blue envelope program. These things exist, and I don't kill the messenger.
Okay.
All right. So it's
how
intended.
I feel about blue.
But this is a good thing. Let's not kind of let's not get on a good thing like this.
Any kind of awareness is a good thing.
So this is it's in Arkansas, and it's the first state in the South to implement a blue envelope program.
Okay.
And so it's intended to make traffic stops. So when someone's pulled over and they're driving, easier for drivers that are autistic. So and this is
have an autistic passenger.
So this is how it works. So people with autism will be able to request a blue envelope at the DMV where they can keep documents like registration, insurance, and a driver's license to hand a police officer if they're pulled over. So, I know when I'm pulled over, the many times that I'm pulled over now, I know when I'm pulled over, I get excited and scared. I don't know why, but I just feel kind of scared when I'm
And
pulled
guilty.
over.
I'm
And
sure
guilty.
you've done something wrong.
Probably have. And it's this is meant so that people who are overwhelmed getting their documents together and they have a fight or flight response,
Yeah.
that they have everything kind of in one place. They can just say, here, I have it right here. Here you go. Take it, please. And they're able to kind of work it, right?
Well,
So-
it just alleviates that kind of like panic mode. I mean, I definitely get panic when I'm pulled over.
Yeah.
And then you're ruggling through all your
Papers.
paperwork and
Maybe you don't know where your registration is.
yeah, no, I think
proof of
everyone
insurance.
should have that typical or neurotypical.
Well, if you're autistic, you can get a blue envelope now in Arkansas. So there you go.
Let's change the color though.
Well, you can change the color.
Okay.
Why don't in California we don't even have that in California, I don't think. So why don't you start it and we'll do like we can do like a red
Golden.
a red envelope.
Golden.
Or
Golden includes
a
everyone.
gold envelope.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's on your to-do list now, right? Oh, there's Gizmo. Hey, Gizmo. So
You want to explain to our listeners who Gizmo is? Maybe
Gizmo's
somebody
our
doesn't
center
know.
dog.
Yes, he's our mascot.
He's a little Pekingese. You can probably hear him. He just sneezed. He just gave a little sneeze, and he came in and is saying hello to us.
I honestly think you love Gizmo more than you love me.
No, I don't.
I
That's
think so.
silly. I don't.
I think, and you didn't want me to get Gizmo for you. It was your birthday present.
Gizmo depends on me more than you do.
Let's give our listeners another update about the center because the center has really changed a lot. In our last run of Brady Bunch of Autism, we were primarily an enrichment center, and we had classes, wonderful classes, but we really just had enrichments. And one of our beloved board members, who has a daughter who had reached that cliff and kind of fallen off the cliff of 22, there really wasn't any setting that was appropriate for her. There was, community day services, but there was nothing that included kind of the social interaction, the peer group. We wanted to create something, she and I, that was almost like a small college feel. Mm-hmm. It's a very small setting. It's a full day program for primarily lower support need individuals, but we do have some individuals who have support. But it's such a unique program, and I'm so happy with how it's going. It's really flourished in the last 2 years. But what makes it so special is our sponsorship with Funko. And do you want to talk a little bit about our corporate?
Yeah, well, we wanted to create a situation where our participants were getting inside a workplace and being trained as employees, getting indoctrinated into corporate culture, like it or not. And we were looking for a company to partner with to do that. And Funko stepped up, and they said, that sounds like something we'd be really interested in doing. We actually had a partnership, a fundraising partnership with them, that we were, they released a pop last year that was a pop for purpose, and it was of Carl Friedrichsen from Up, who my dad did the voice of. And so we were already kind of partnering with them on that, and this was a natural segue for us to kind of get a little more into it together. And they've been incredible. And I'll say this, it has become an incredible program, not just for our participants, but for them as well, for Funko as well.
Absolutely.
It's changed their organization. They're actually doing a similar program up in Washington, with people up in Washington, with employees up in Washington, and it's incredible. We've been working with them now for a year and a half.
Well, I think Funko really is the paradigm in partnerships for specifically autistic and neurodivergent individuals, because they asked us, help us write the recipe for this work program, help us create what we've never created before. And I think once you include autistic voices in the creation of programs, and that's really is my motivation for the center in general, is having all of our programs be autistically created, autistically led. We have probably 30% of our, maybe actually higher now, of our academy teachers are neurodivergent. I just think there's a authentic and wonderful feeling when you have autistic people creating these programs for other autistic people. And I think that Funko has uniquely done that and allowed us to help them create the need for accommodations, the need for the kind of sensitivity that most organizations don't really either care about or are willing to include in hiring. And so many parents tell me, oh, my kid got this job, but it's after they're hired that is the issue, and the continuation of daily support needs that makes successful partnerships. And Funko really has done that.
And I'll say this: it's been a success on so many levels, but we've seen our participants grow immensely as people, as humans, and the greatest thing of all is that 3 of our participants have become regular employees of Funko. They are there several times a week as employees on their own, and that is something that we hoped would happen, but I don't know if we ever thought it would. But I mean, we hoped it would happen. We were very clear when we went into with Funko. That we mentioned to them, we said it'd be great if we could actually have some of our participants hired by you guys, and it worked out. It's happening, and so just a message out there: if you're listening and you have ideas for maybe some companies, corporations that we can talk to about this, doing similar programs, we're excited and about talking about this with other corporations. So if you have ideas, let us know. You can email me at matt@teafc.org or nava@teafc.org. And
Navah.
Navah.
Everyone spells my name wrong. Nava.
Really?
Do you want to know why you add the H to Nava?
I actually know this.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
It's for God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
H is
Hashem.
in Hebrew. It means Hashem, and you add H. And I Aviva, our eldest, her name also has the H. It's very important.
So that rounds up the center stuff a little bit. So I'd like to talk a little bit about something that happened about a little over 6 months, 7-8 months ago. We were sitting. I was sitting at the office, and at the center, and you called me and said you need to come home right away. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And it's not often that happens. I don't think I can actually remember another time that did happen. So I knew.
I think I used the word emergency.
Yeah,
too.
I knew something was going on. So I hightailed it home, and what was that about?
Well, I mean, like I've said and like we've talked about, we have a lot of autistic kids, and each one of them is so different. Each one of them has such different, needs. And, our middle guy, Wolfie, who we always saw as kind of like the easy guy. He always got great grades. He never really needed the kind of support that our other two, Willie and Eddie, needed. And
he was quiet about.
He
his
was
autism.
very. He was. Well, he's very. I mean, one of his biggest kind of struggles is his introverted and being in his head all the time and kind of solitary. But we celebrated because he got into his first choice college, Berklee School of Music. I took out a very, very big loan in order for him to go there. And we were just on top of the world. And I didn't just throw him to the wolves. I felt really strongly.
No, you were. We set him up with all these wonderful programs and Easter seals and.
Well, I want our listeners to understand that, just because a kid has low support needs on paper doesn't mean that they don't have the highest support needs. And I felt and I feel like I had really set him up for success. But what we didn't take into account is the emotional toll of having a autistic young man who was very sensitive, who had always lived with us, always been really cared for by us, suddenly going with that level of independence so just suddenly. And, he had a wonderful first year, but his second year was just from the beginning to end a disaster. And he kept it to himself.
We didn't know that.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
And he kept it to himself.
So he
basically, it was like, you remember during COVID when there were so many kids, and I'm sure a lot of you out there who are listening had kids who did that, where they would figure out a way to change their screen to look like they were still listening, and they were playing video games on the other thing. So basically, Wolf's very clever, and he figured out how to doctor his grades and was basically telling us on a daily basis, because I talked to him 3 to 5 times a day, that everything was fine, and he was going to his therapies, and he had a college navigator support person.
And none of them knew anything either.
No. And so basically he was failing, and he was too afraid to tell us. It got to such a point that day that I called Matt and said, we have an emergency. Wolfie was at a point where he just, I remember him being hysterical and saying
he withdrew from classes. I mean, he was not just failing; he withdrew from classes. So he was living this kind of lie.
He was living a lie
that he had to kind of back up every day.
Yeah,
with us and
I'm sure. I think that was part of his
emotionally,
the build up.
Yeah,
the build up, and that build up. I remember him telling me later that he called his big brother Max, and he's like, I don't know what to do. And Max said to him, you hang up the phone with me and you go talk to Mom, because this can't go on. She's supporting something that's not sustainable when you're living this lie. And, I felt after many, many, many months later, because it was a blow to me personally, that was just, I can't describe. I really feel later that Wolfie, a lot of him being there and a lot of him continuing was more for me than for him. He's the most incredibly talented musician, and he continues to be more creative now that has that kind of pressure off him here at home than he ever was at Berklee School of Music.
I was like, when I got home and I heard this, my first inclination was to get angry, and
you son of a bitch.
I don't think I really got that angry.
That was my Ed impression.
That was pretty good. I was in disbelief.
Yeah. No, I was very angry.
A little shocked, but then I thought to myself, though, I think when I kind of processed it a little bit, that must have been a very alone thing.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he must have felt so incredibly alone during that whole year.
Yeah,
and how horrible that must have been for him. So I kind of felt, that he'd been through enough. I didn't need to.
Well,
I didn't need to
by
give
the
him
time
any more
that you-
hellfire.
By the time you arrived
by-
home,
Yeah.
I had realized that this was an emergency situation, and nothing, no
Yeah.
college, no program is worth somebody's mental health.
Right.
And, but again, I kind of started that, but I think that if I really get into therapy mode, I wanted to go to Berklee School of Music.
Yeah.
That was my dream. That wasn't Wolfie's dream. And
And it was probably a little too much for him.
yeah,
And-
it was too much for him. And I think that there are so many times, and there's so many parents who, they feel that their autistic kid with the lowest support needs, are kind of, I don't have to worry about this kid. I think that rings true more so when you have more than one autistic kid.
We all want our kids to succeed and to excel and to do the things that we hope for them. We want them to. And
But I think as parents, we have to really balance what is realistic and what is our unrealistic expectations.
well, that's true of
I know you wanted
that's true of any
kids that were professional baseball players.
Wow.
And I think that I wanted all my kids to be either doctors or rabbis. I'm sure that was my first
Right.
choice. But I think, I realize very, very clearly now after Wolf has completely turned his life around. He joined a community college where he's excelling at. He's so creative. He works part-time in the Academy program. He's just a totally different person. He has such a lightness of spirit that he didn't have before. And he's really, really, I think, on the right track. And no status college, no dream even is worth giving up your mental health. And I just want to tell everyone that, I really, really feel that those kids that you think don't need a lot of support needs because they're, low support need individuals, sometimes they have the highest support needs. And we really learned that the hard way, but we're on the other side of it. And I'm just so proud of the man that he has become. And
I'm proud of him too. I think he's done a great job at getting back on track and dealing with a very stressful, horrible situation.
yeah,
And now you and I need to go to therapy.
exactly.
That's something. And he's back on track. He's in school again, and I think he's thriving in school.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think he's creating his own world, which is I think something that everyone should do: create their own world, and not the world that we create for them. Right, Nava?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, we've really enjoyed having you listen to us, and we're going to be back every other week with all kinds of things: autism, special needs, family, in the community, and current events. And we just want to say thank you so much for listening.
If you want to check out the center, if you want to get on our mailing list, look at our YouTube channel, get our social media handles. You can go to teafc.org, and everything is there. All that stuff, and I'm getting texts. I don't know why I'm getting texts. But Nava, it's been nice, and we will...
It's been nice knowing you, Matt.